Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eleanor and today I'm doing a review of Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. A little bit of change of scenery because if you don't follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, you maybe don't know that a few days ago I dislocated my left knee. It is the third time I've done it, beside the point, but I am now signed off work for the next couple of weeks. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more red. So that's why I'm sitting down, because I have to have my leg propped up because I'm in a hip to ankle brace. That's beside the point. Anyway, here to talk about Jurassic Park. I really wanted to watch the original film for Jurassic Park for this video so I could talk about both the book and the film, but in the few places that I watch things online, I didn't have access to Jurassic Park and I would have to pay a little bit more to watch it. So I was like, I'm not doing that. So I'm just going to be talking about the book solely today, because the last time I watched the original Jurassic Park film was probably more than 10 years ago, so I don't really remember an awful lot about it. Anyway, quickly, if you don't know Jurassic Park, at the start of this book you're following a paleontologist called Alan Grant who's on an expedition and he's digging up fossils and things, all sorts. You're also following the storyline of this local island. I think they've discovered a new species of lizard that's attacking babies and children and like being really ferocious. The whole first section of this book, obviously going in, you know what Jurassic Park's about, dinosaurs, but the whole first section of this book, no one really knows what Jurassic Park is. They're not really talking about that it's about DNA and about resurrecting dinosaurs. It's not clear and they're keeping it hidden and secret, and I think it really adds to like the suspense of the story because you know what to expect, you know what's coming, and it's quite exciting to kind of be on that journey with them. I really enjoyed how scientific this book was. The whole first part of this book is very wordy and maybe a wee bit dense, I should say, in terms of all the scientific information about DNA, about paleontology, about even a bit about like mathematics and like chaos theory and probability and things like that, and about computer science, computer stuff. I don't know the words for it. I think you really have to be concentrating in this first section of the book, and I really liked Michael Grant. Really liked Michael Crichton's writing style, even though he was covering really interesting and wordy and dense topics. It was easy to read and I didn't find it too overly complicated, but I also didn't feel like as the reader he was talking down to me too much. But yeah, and I even said this is going to be a spoiler-filled review because I don't know how you talk about this without talking about spoilers, and because I don't remember the film too much, I don't know what's different from the book in the film, and I wouldn't want to inadvertently spoil you. So, spoilers, I'll remember to put on a wee note of that at the start of when I'm editing. Anyway, I liked the characters in this. There's a few that were god awful, like those grandchildren were a nightmare, and I think that's one of the most annoying things about this book is the children. Alexis, or Lex, she's nicknamed, is the most irritating child ever. And I understand in a situation like this that's maybe realistic, that children will hamper you and will cause problems, but there were so many instances where they were in such danger and she'd be hurt, but she's shouting and screaming and all that, and like excitement and things like that, and it's like, that's not really realistic. I can imagine like children, I think she's like 7 or something, 7 or 8, and would be like cowering in fear and would freeze up and things like that, but she was so annoying. And then in other cases, Lex and the older boy, Tim, were like smarter, more intelligent than made sense. Like suddenly at the end of the book, Tim is just a computer whiz and can sort out the computer and knows what he's doing. So that was the most annoying part of the book, in my opinion. This review is going to be all over the place. If you've watched any of my reviews before, you know I can't really keep a coherent thought in my head, and I don't really plan out what I'm talking about very well for reviews, sorry. End up a bit of a jumble. My favourite character in this book was Ian Malcolm, the mathematician. He was just very sarcastic, very blunt, and very honest in his interpretation of what was going on. So he was originally employed for the Jurassic Park project in terms of working out like the statistical probability of bad things happening or something like that in the park. And then the creator of the park, Hammond, him didn't like him turning around and saying Jurassic Park shouldn't go ahead, it's not going to work, it's a bad idea, you shouldn't be messing with nature in this way. Hammond obviously didn't like that, but Malcolm's very much sticking to his guns and saying, no, the math checks out, this is what the data shows, this is what's going on, this is what's going to happen. And I just felt like him periodically chipping in throughout the book and just saying, I told you so, I told you so. I really enjoyed it. And I liked the excerpts of him speaking and explaining different concepts. I don't really know what kind of concepts they were. More kind of philosophical concepts, and I really enjoyed them. I thought they were really interesting and well explained and well written and well reasoned, I feel like, in my opinion, for these sections. And I just thought his worldview was interesting. A lot of people would maybe say he was pessimistic, but from where he's coming from in terms of looking at it from the maths perspective and the data and like all the kind of statistical probability that you can work out, he's not being pessimistic, he's being realistic. And I just thought it was quite an interesting kind of addition to the story. What I also loved about this book was how violent it was. Obviously you can expect there to be a lot of violence because it's a dinosaur slasher book, basically. Lots of people die, lots of people are really horrifically injured. And if I'm distracted, I'm very sorry, my little kitten is going to make an appearance. And he's running around all over the room, causing havoc, aren't you? And you're off. I just loved the violence, which is a weird thing to say that you love in a book. I loved how violent and bloody and gory it was. It didn't shy away from the fact that if a raptor or a T-Rex slashes at your belly, yeah, your guts are going to fall out. That's what happens. I can't remember in the book. No, I can't remember in the film how violent it is or how visually gruesome it is. I'd imagine maybe not so as the book because it is more sold as a kind of kids film, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. But I really enjoyed that aspect of the story. So many people die, so many people are injured, and it's just very harrowing and realistic. I think from like roughly saying, I don't know, halfway through the book and on to the end, it's so intense and you're sitting there gripped and you're wanting to finish the book in one go because these people are like lost in the park, they're trying to get back, the power's out, the cars don't work, they're on foot, it's torrential rain, it's night, and there's dinosaurs loose, and it's just stop, hello, stop. And it's just so tense and gripping, and I really enjoyed how that was written, and it was so engaging, and it made you just want to consume the rest of the book. There was just so many very well written scenes, and I think the action and everything like that was really well portrayed. I hit myself in the face. I do that a lot. I don't know if you've noticed that's a common theme. I flail my arms and I whack myself in the face with the book. This is all over the place, I'm very sorry. But yeah, that was another aspect I liked. I also liked the atmosphere of this book. I feel like in all aspects of the story, you really felt like Calcifer. Don't eat that. Please, please, please don't eat that. He's trying to eat my microphone cable. Maybe we'll just sit here for a sec. You gonna calm down? This is a mess. I apologise. And I think the sun is shining on my face, and that's probably really bad for the image of this video, but I'm not going to refilm it because my leg hurts. The atmosphere of this book was really well done. I really felt like you were in that park. Everything was really well described. I felt like you really knew the layout of the park and where certain areas were and when these people were making these journeys like down the river and they were trying to get back to the home base basically, you could feel like you were on that journey with them. You could feel the intense rain, you could feel the intense fear and the darkness, and the T-Rex like creeping by, and the compies coming to get you, and the raptors attacking. Well, the kids are hiding in the kitchen. It was so atmospheric and really, really drew you in. And I just thought that was another really great aspect of this book. Yeah, I don't really know if I've got much else I want to say about the book. I loved the atmosphere and the environment. I loved the science behind it. I really enjoyed how the characters were written. I think they were written in such great detail that they were really brought to life and really realistic. And I felt like it was an interesting cast of characters. Like you had the paleontologists, you had the maths people, and you had there was a lawyer as well. There was also like a computer tech person. There was also like a doctor, or like a zoology kind of doctor person, and like other staff workers. And then you had the main creator of the park, Hammond, who is a really not a nice guy. He had far too much money, and I think the overall kind of tone and like message of the story is just that there's so many things that humans shouldn't mess with, and it's the kind of age-old idea of just because you can, it doesn't mean you should. Just because the scientists have worked out a way to pull the DNA from dinosaur fossils and perhaps like bring these dinosaurs back to life, it doesn't mean you should. And I just feel like that was a really interesting. He is a crazy kitten. He's full of too much energy and he's climbing the bookshelves over there. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm so distracted. I'm very sorry. This is chaos. Yeah, it was that whole idea that just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I just feel like there's a great quote. Let me pull it up. Yeah, I can't remember what character says it, but it was, because the history of evolution is that life escapes all barriers. Life breaks free, life expands to new territories, painfully, perhaps even dangerously, but life finds a way. And it was that whole idea that the creator of the park, Hammond, was all very much so, well, no, it's like a zoo. We've just got the dinosaurs in the zoo. They're not being affected by the rest of the world. We can control the environment. It's fine. Nothing will happen. But I think it maybe was the maths guy who was like saying this and just saying, that's not how it works. Like everything in the world is impacted by everything else. And you're bringing these extinct animals back to life when the oxygen is different, the gravity is different, the world is different, the plants are different, everything is different. And you're expecting it just to stay in this contained bubble. Life finds a way and escapes. And the whole way through this book, I kind of assumed that Michael Crichton was kind of like very much into like the environment and being like eco-friendly and very much like save the planet kind of vibe, because that's kind of the message I got from the maths guy, Ian Malcolm, because he talks a lot about like not affecting the world and things like that. Because there's this other quote he said, let's be clear, the planet is not in jeopardy. We are in jeopardy. We haven't got the power to destroy the planet or to save it, but we might have the power to save ourselves. Because there's a whole conversation about like, are we destroying the planet? Should we be doing these changes? And the maths guy, Ian Malcolm, was saying, we're not destroying the planet, we're destroying humanity. The planet, the Earth will survive, even if everything is wiped out. The Earth will start again. And in my head while I was reading it, I was like, oh, he's for like climate change and things like that. But it turns out Michael Crichton was a climate change denier. He didn't believe in climate change, which is a whole other topic. But I was just a bit annoyed by finding that out. But that was a whole side note that you probably didn't care for and didn't need to know. But I just thought that was an interesting addition. Calcifer. Come on. He was eating a pen. You have been an absolute pest the whole time I've been filming this video. What have you got to say for yourself? What have you got to say for yourself? Yeah. I would encourage everyone to pick up Jurassic Park. This was a fantastic book. Whether you really love the science behind it, or you really just love dinosaurs and find them fascinating, and or like violent stories or things like that, or you love the films, I would definitely recommend the book. Such a fun ride. I was gripped the whole way through. It was really enjoyable, and it wasn't a terribly long book either, or very hard to read. So I'd 100% recommend it. I really want to watch the films again now, but as I said, I couldn't find them and I don't want to pay more to watch them just now. So I'll wait patiently and see if they appear on anything and I can watch them when I want to. I am interested in reading the next book, The Lost World, I believe it's called. The Lost World. But I just checked, and this is a huge spoiler. At the end of this first book, the character Ian Malcolm dies. But I believe the Lost World book is the main character is Ian Malcolm, so I'm confused by that. And I also think I read that The Lost World is a sequel to the film and not the book. So part of me is like, do I really want to even read it at all? I'm on the fence, so I can't be persuaded. Let me know if you've read Jurassic Park, what you thought of it, or if you now really want to read Jurassic Park yourself. I would love to know. Speak to me in the comments. And I hit myself in the face again. I need to stop. I'm very distracted by my cat, who's attacking all the pillows on the sofa. He has too much energy. That's what I get for getting a kitten, who's now 12 weeks old. Anyway, oh my goodness. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe and watch more of my content. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.